morning and welcome to the channel. We're back with another episode, and in today's episode we are going to be waterproofing this shower system. It's concrete board, so over top we are going to be doing a RedGard, which is a waterproof rubber-like material that you just roll on the walls. So we're going to be installing that, and in order to do that we need to fill up all the holes from the screws, all the seams where the boards meet with some thin set and wire mesh tape, and then we can go ahead and roll on that RedGard. This shower was due for an update. As you can tell by this video, this is what it looked like before. Somewhat standard with a tub surround and a tub. We tore it all out, got to this stage here where you can see we have our tub surround. We installed the tray yesterday so I can stand on it now and carry on with the next stage. What I'm gonna need for this first step is some thin set. I'm using speed set. It's a modified thin set that's gonna cure pretty quickly. That way I could get that RedGard on today as well. I'm gonna use some wire mesh for all my seams and inside corners, and then 2 trowels to apply it. Typically I would have a drywall hawk or something else to put some thin set on just to make it a little more efficient, but I forgot that today, so we're just gonna be scooping out of the bucket with this. And then of course a mixer. The wire mesh typically has an adhesion side to it, so it's really easy to apply. All you do is find your seam, like this one here. This is a butt seam to butt seam. The edges are tapered, so it's nice doing it tapered like this. But I would rather have no seam where this valve is and just have a continuous sheet. So typically on the valve side, I go lengthwise with my sheet from the bottom, and it usually ends up between the valve and the shower head. You just want to decrease any points of failure as much as you can regardless. So that's why the seam's up there, and that's why it's a butt edge. Just like that. And I trim off the excess here with my knife. Like that. And that's how you do it. And then for the inside corners, start in the corner, push it in so it's roughly half. I have a blowout here, so I have to cut that out. It's always sad when that happens, but it does happen, so just have to be aware of it. Grab your drywall knife or anything flat, and then you can kind of square up your corners a bit more. You want to make sure it's a square 90, because if you don't push it into that corner, it's going to create a concave, and then when you go install your tile, you're not going to be able to push it tight into that corner. It's going to be out a 1/4 inch easily, so just want to make sure it's pushed in. This is my blowout here, so I want to be a little more mindful of how I do that, but push it on that side. Alright, so I'm going to do all the seams like that. We'll come back, mix up some thin set, and apply it.
Thin set time. Mask up if you have one, or do it in a ventilated space at least, because you shouldn't breathe any dust in really. The mixer. Add water first. I like to clean around the edges real quick, because when you initially mix, that dust can fly up and adhere to the edge, and then you just make a bunch of crumbs, essentially. We're gonna let this firm up and slack for about 5 minutes and remix it, and we'll be ready to apply it. It was 3 minutes, not 5. Clean up the sides. This is the consistency I'm going for.
So this is a pretty straightforward process as well. We just want to push it into those seams, embed the tape a little bit, but you don't want to do too much of a buildup because you want a straight and flat of a substrate as possible for your tile. I wish I brought my other troweling tools now instead of a drywall knife, but this is what it will look like. Something else to be mindful of too, you should check your walls if they are flat. If they're not, right here, this stud was out a little bit, there's a bone in it or something, so I'm just gonna build that up a bit. You could do it now at this stage, or when you install the tile, just be mindful of it. You might need to back butter your tile or something. But while I'm here, I'm just gonna help it along a little bit. And then you really want to be mindful you don't create a hump or excess thin set, because that's going to be a pain for when you do your tiling. And then for the inside corners, if you've done any drywall, you're going to be decent at doing this. And then just move over and continue on pushing it into that gap. And just like that, give you a bit of a closer look. So you can see it's a nice square, tight inside corner. There's no excess. Something like this, we may as well just go ahead and clean up, because that will be a pain once it dries. So just be mindful of that as you go. And I'm gonna carry on and get this done, and then it'll be time for, well, it'll be time for it to dry, and then it'll be time for the RedGard. All right, now that the thin set has dried, it's been a couple hours, we can go ahead and apply the RedGard. There's a couple ways you can apply it. One is with a trowel, a notch trowel, V-shape. You can apply it by roller, which is how I'm gonna do it. And you can actually apply it by a sprayer as well, but you'd have to dilute it, I believe. This is it here. It's a crack and waterproofing membrane. Crack isolator, meaning it decouples from the substrate, so any small movements from the substrate in the wall is less likely to transfer into the tile and crack the grout or the tile. That's what it looks like. It's just like painting, pretty simple. You do want to apply it on a bit thicker, of course, as you want to fill in the voids and pinholes of the concrete board. I'm gonna put on my respirator again because this stuff is pretty stinky, and we can start to roll.
You want to make sure you remove those. I'm actually going to use my knife to get into those corners. You can use a paintbrush, but I forgot one.
The first coat has been applied and it's been about an hour and we're almost fully dry. You can see that there's a little more pink here where I applied it a bit heavier. Once it is all red, like most of this wall here, we can go ahead and begin that second coat. So I'm gonna give it about maybe another 30 more minutes, come back, do the final coat. It does need that second coat because you can see here, I don't know if the camera will pick up on it or not, but there are some voids, some pinprick holes scattered throughout this concrete board. So that second coat's really gonna help make a continuous membrane over that concrete board. So we're gonna wait, come back, do that final coat in the same way, and then it'll be done and ready to begin tiling next week. I'm not gonna do it in this video or today, but you typically only have to wait until this is fully dried when it's turned fully red to begin tiling. So thanks for watching. I'm gonna do that last coat and I'll do it for this video.